Step one is the 30 days in 30 minutes content creation system. And when you're a local business, we use a different framework than if someone was, say, a creator or a personal brand, because our audience is local. We need to come up with a strategy that does a few things at the same time in order to grow our business. And all these different steps play a key role in how we achieve this. Hey, it's Aaron here. A quick tip before we get started. You can play the videos on 2-speed if you want to move through the course faster. Let's jump in. But essentially, the amount of content that we've found to be the best for a local business is 3 videos a week following this framework here. So Monday, posting educational content. So this is where you add value to the local community and you educate your target clients on what you do, the problems that you solve, the solutions that you have, and you make their lives better. So you're adding goodwill. And this actually helps create trust towards the services that you offer. Then Wednesday, we use social proof. So this is where we're showcasing clients that you've worked with, projects you might be working on, what's going on behind the scenes, so people can see that what you do works for other people in the community. And then Friday is community, where we talk about your brand story, how long you've been in the community, your involvement, a little bit about your personal journey, other members of the team, to create that familiarity and that proximity relationship with your audience. If you do all these parts, you're constantly adding value, you're showing that what you offer as a service or product works, and then you're leveraging that community piece. And when you do all this really, really well and you get it in front of local target clients and then have a strategy to attract them, that's when we have a content creation strategy for social media that actually grows your business. So we're going to go through this, the 30 days in 30 minutes content creation system, and show you the exact steps to get 3 videos out a week with only taking up roughly 30 minutes of your time a month. So you may be wondering, why are we going down the path of video content? We've got to cater to what the platforms prefer in terms of content in the current landscape, and just about every social media platform, it's short form video in the format of reels, shorts, etc. And what it also does is it humanizes your business. If everyone else is posting photos from a logo, by being on video where the local community can hear your voice and see your face, you instantly stand out, become unique, and separate yourself from everyone else. And that's the key to social media. You want to be distinguishable and recognizable, which is why we're going down the path of creating video content for your business. So how do we get the educational content ideas? We can't sit there racking our brains going, what are we going to post or talk about? So I'm going to show you how to get the educational content ideas using Deb's salon as an example, which is in Tamworth and Maitland, so very regional. And you can see some of the videos that were shot that are educational sitting there on the feed with some of the team there. So let's dive in and see how we get these content ideas on demand for your target clients. Very simple solution that's right in front of you is if you go to Google, and we'll use Deb's hair salon in Tamworth as an example. If I type in blonde hair tips, we can see what questions people are typing in about blonde hairs online. So we scroll down here, and there's the people also ask section. So how do you get the perfect blonde hair? How to best maintain blonde hair? How can I make my blonde hair better? What is the best way to tone blonde hair? And if I click this down arrow, you'll see I get more questions. How to get brassy out of blonde hair? Should you tone blonde hair, wet or dry? Click down, we've got more questions. So this is where you're going to get content ideas that are going to add value and solve people's biggest problems up front. I'm going to do a couple of tricks when we post these pieces of content to reach the local community. So once you've copy and pasted all the questions that you can answer to a spreadsheet, you might go to a different search. So it could be blonde hair styling tips. If we scroll down, how can I make my blonde hair look better? What hairstyles look good on blondes? What not to do with blonde hair? And you get the drift. You can keep running this process to get content ideas on demand that people are searching online. So it's almost like you're reading your target client's mind. And then we might go blonde hair product. We scroll down. What is the best way to take care of blonde hair? How do I keep my blonde hair from fading? How to make blonde hair look better? How do you keep blonde hair from turning brassy? So I should add that Deb's salon in Tamworth, they're called Blonde Republic. So they do specialize in blonde hair, which is why I'm specifically searching for blonde hair related questions that people are asking on Google. Now, the reason we also want to do that is we want to create content that's relevant for our target customers. we could create content to go viral, but if we reach millions of people around the world that have no utility for our product or service, it doesn't actually grow our local business. So when we're specifically talking about the problems that we solve and the solutions that we have, and we're adding value, it's going to appeal to our target clients, and that's really, really important. And if we go back in step 2, you're going to learn, of course, how we get this in front of your target clients in the local community. And then in step 3, you'll learn a little bit about how you can actually get them to come and engage your business's paid solutions. The social proof content pillar will depend a little bit on what type of business you have. So for example, Blonde Republic, they showcase some of what they do with their clients, some of the treatments. So if you look at some of the reels here, this is just some of the happenings behind the scenes when they're going through and styling customers. But depending on what your business is, you might talk about a recent local client success story. What projects are you working on at the moment, or what clients are you working on? What's happening behind the scenes? These are all categories you can go to anytime to share. Meet the team, the people working inside your business, testimonials or case studies from clients in the community, what your client's favorite solutions, so what your go-to services or products that you offer. It could be showcasing the actual services in action, working with clients, a little bit behind the scenes, B-roll sort of scenario, tour of the business, showing around the location and site. Could be talking about what's coming next in the future months, and even meet the clients if some of them are happy to get on camera while they're going through the process with you. So to get a list of community focus questions for our Friday content pillar, what we can do is go to ChatGPT and we can give it a prompt. So I've got one here for Blonde Republic, and feel free to play the video on 2 speed if you want to get through it faster. Blonde Republic is a hair salon specializing in blonde hair. This is their website, giving ChatGPT context. Blonde Republic has 2 locations, Tamworth and Maitland. Can I get a list of 20 questions? You can ask for as many as you want. I can ask the owner, Deb, and her hairstylist that will build local community awareness and connection with the female population in Tamworth, populations in Tamworth and Maitland, as well as share Deb and the stylist's history, connection to the town, and the journey building Blonde Republic. Let's see what ChatGPT sends back. So ChatGPT is giving us the 20 questions. And what's really important about this is you'll see that with these questions, we're talking about the community, what inspired it. So people really get to buy into the journey behind the business. And when people build that connection piece and they feel part of the story, that's where the business becomes more than a logo and a business name. It actually becomes humanized. And they'll feel like, because the business is run by other locals, that they have that familiarity piece, which is really, really important. So you'll see you get these questions, and you can, of course, refine them and ask ChatGPT to rephrase them if you'd like them to be different. But again, you can just copy these questions, put them in the spreadsheet in a communities tab, put them in the notes section, so they're ready to go. And we'll show you what you do with the community questions as we go through this training. To get our content done in 30 minutes a month, meeting our framework here where we're getting the educational content, social proof, and community content done, what we then do is in our spreadsheet where we've saved all our content ideas is we grab a list of extraction questions. So we might get 4 from the educational content ideas that we research using Google Also Ask. You might come down here, grab some questions from this list, copy them, paste them over here. Then we might go to our social proof tab, different scenarios that we're going to put into our extraction for the month. And then you've got your community questions list over here that you can grab 4 questions from as well. So we paste them in, and then we're going to go ahead and set up the recording process so we can capture 30 days content in 30 minutes using these content ideas that we just extracted in the research step. Let's set up a recording scenario that gets the most authentic content, but you're not worried about scripts, teleprompters, getting the take right. And the way we've been able to achieve that is through the conversational approach. So what our clients do, and we have clients in different countries all around the world, is they join us to do a Q&A on the 12 questions on a smart device. So it's almost like they're on FaceTime having a conversation with me virtually, which is what we wanted to create. So they'll join via Google Meet. They'll have their phone in portrait or selfie mode set up. Some have tripods, some just set it up on a pot plant in front of them, depending on where they are and where they're filming from. And we just go through the 12 questions, and it doesn't matter if they lose track of thought, they just answer naturally, and we work our way through the list. Now, some clients do choose to have a lapel microphone where they plug it into their device, and then they have the mic there for sound quality, which you can get on Amazon for $50 or $60. You can just search for that. So everyone's a little bit different. One thing that we do encourage clients to do is have a different outfit each time, or do a couple of outfit changes during our conversation, just so you've got a different look and feel in the videos. But if you're a business that has branded logos and polos, then it's fine to show up and do your sessions in uniform, depending on what type of company you're in. So that's the setup that we have to get authentic and organic content. We do a Q&A session, FaceTime style, that we record, and we just go through the list of 12 questions, ask away, and then we take it to step 3 in the process, which is repurposing it into the 30 days of video content thereafter. Let's see an example of what the recording step looks like with a client. This interview took 34 minutes and 21 seconds, so that's all we needed to get 30 days of content. I'll press play so you can get a sense for what the vibe's like.
Our number one purpose is to make you feel different when you leave, not just have nice hair. It's not just a quick, oh, my hair needs to be cut off. It's about pouring into you the whole time you're in here. It's so important.
So as you can see, very natural style for Deb to show up. I'm there chatting away on the other side. There's me in the frame. And this is what we do each month with each client for the record process. Step 3 is repurposing, turning this 34-minute interview into all these short form videos of social media for the next 30 days. It's really important that we cut clips that correspond to the questions that our target clients are searching for that we found in step number 1. There are some AI tools that do repurposing of longer videos, but it won't cut content that corresponds to each of those questions at this stage. So for quality control, you can use us and we'll do it all for you. Or if you've already got your own editor in-house or you want to train one, these are the instructions that you give them. So you send them the questions that you're targeting with your content. You paste a link to your interview that they're going to use to repurpose, and then you let them know that you want to get at least one clip from each of the questions that you're targeting. You send them these video size instructions, which will cater to shorts, reels, the style of content that we're after, sub 60 seconds in length to the 8.25 second attention span, then your brand colors and your brand font that you use across social media to keep it uniform and on brand for your business. Then you might share 1 or 3 examples of reels that you like, so that gives some framework and direction to the editor. If you don't want to use our team at Content Only that's ready to go for you, you can go to a freelancing site like Upwork and you can search for talent. So if you put in Reels Editor, you can browse people that specialize in this style of editing, look at their portfolio and see if it's a match. Then someone that is a fit, you can send them the instructions and get them to produce your videos for you. You will have to manage them, however. Let's see what our team did with Deb's 34-minute interview here and how we repurposed it into her short form video. We ended up with 14 clips, and I'll play one so you can see what it looks like when it's branded and ready to go for social media.
So the name's a little bit of a giveaway, but I absolutely love anything blonde, balayage, lived in. That's something that we're very passionate about being educated in. And there is a science to blonde hair. There's so many more elements when you're talking about being a blonde and the whole experience of going from dark to light. There's so many more levels to it than any other colours. So that's why that's so interesting to me. But we are colour specialists. We love colour. We do a lot of extension work and lots of lived in hair. So 80% of my clients could come back in 6 weeks or 12 months and their hair's still going to look beautiful. It's about giving the client the choice back. They can come in when they want to, not because they have to, because we can deliver such beautiful results that look as good when they come back as they did when they leave. That's a big part of what happens when you leave the salon, is a big part of our ethos, not just when you're in the salon. Got to look beautiful the whole time.
So let's talk about a DIY solution, do-it-yourself scenario. I appreciate that many people taking the free course are not in a position with resources and budget to engage editors at this stage in the journey that can just simply hand over done for you reels ready to go. So I'll show you a couple of tools that can assist with this, and Opus Clip is one such tool. So if I come here and I grab the link to my conversation with Deb, I can paste it into Opus and it's called long to short. So you can do this with a podcast episode, a general conversation. It's going to produce a whole lot of clips and get clips in one click. And you might go, oh, that's brilliant. That's the solution. The problem is these are the questions we were targeting. So this is specific content that we curated for your target audience versus what you get. So you get a whole series of random clips that might not correspond to the questions and responses. And of course, you're going to have to fix up all the captions, editing and branding yourself. So whilst it's a solution that uses AI, it can definitely be a starting point. It doesn't produce the same quality output when you've got an editor following the instructions, which is why this is a true 30 days in 30 minutes, where you just show up, have the conversation, an editor goes away and produces all the videos for you. The next thing that Opus can do for you is actually add captions to clips. So if you've got a clip that doesn't have captions on it and you want to add your branded moving captions to the screen, you just come here and choose the AI captions option. You upload your clip, and I'll just grab a client example here, and that'll take a couple of minutes to prepare. Once your clip is uploaded and ready, you just add your branding template, which is your colors and your fonts for the captions, and I'll show you how that gets created in a moment. And just select that option and click on add captions with one click. You'll see project submitted successfully. That usually takes a minute or two for the captions to get added to the clip. You can see the ETA is 5 minutes here. Then I will show you what happens next. Our clip is now ready to go. And what we can do is make some edits to make sure the captions are in the right spot, that they're accurate. So there's an edit clip over here on the right. All this has been put onto the clip using AI so far. The first thing you want to do is make sure you've got the right brand template up in the top right corner here. And I'll press play so you can see what's going on with the captions.
Customer lifetime value is big, and if you've got a retention problem, it's likely because...
So what you can do is, if you want to change the position of the captions, you can just drag where they go. If you wanted to remove a part of the video, for example, you can click on this icon here and there's split. So if you split, you can actually delete parts of the video. So if I go forward
for your current customers,
and I click here and I go split, could then come back and actually delete this section of the video. So you can take parts out and do a little bit of editing, which is very useful. Then what you want to do is review all the captions to make sure that they're accurate. In a lot of cases, they're pretty close, but you'll usually need to edit or amend a few. So you press play and watch.
For net new acquisition, we always want to be getting our customers to continue to buy. And
now, if you saw an error, you come over here to the captions and you can edit or add words. So if you needed to fix something, you click on the word, and let's say you wanted to change can to can't, you would click apply, and now you've fixed and changed the captions. And once you've gone through and you're happy with how the clip looks, where the captions are, that they're all accurate, you can simply go save changes, and then your clip's ready to download. When your clip's ready and it's processed, you can click download HD. Now the clip's downloaded to the computer and you can see what it looks like.
Customer lifetime value is big, and if you've got a retention...
So that's how you can utilize AI to add captions to videos and do some basic editing. And over here on the left is where you can create your brand template. So if I click on that, so you can modify how you want your captions to look in alignment with your brand. So all these options over here in the right are customizable. You can choose how many lines of captions that you want on the video, the position of the captions, the style, so you can change the animation style on the screen. You can see the word amplifier color, so it highlights in orange in this example. You can see the font, which is white, and you can add a custom font. So if you want to use the font for your brand, you can come here and add that in, and you can change all these settings so you can have the captions look how you want it to look to best represent your brand, and then just simply save the template. And you can add that template just as you saw me do when you go through this process. So there are a couple of different pathways for turning your 30-minute conversation into 30 days of content. One is naturally hands-off, where all the clips get done for you. You can go about your business. They get passed back over, ready to go for social media. But if you're not at that stage in your journey yet, then you've got tools like Opus Clip and plenty of other solutions that can help you get started and get in the content game. If you want to book a session in to explore what it looks like when we just do this for you and pass it all over, follow the link below this video and book in an obligation-free chat, and we can see if it's a fit for where you're at in your journey. Here's a quick testimonial from Deb sharing her experience with the strategy.
So we've been working with content only for the last 3 months. We have definitely seen an increase in new clients. We've generated a lot of interest by putting ourselves out there and letting people get to know us before they get here. We've found it's been really, really powerful with our marketing and generating new clients. As and the team are excellent to work with. They talk you through each step and make you feel comfortable with the whole process. Just jump on a call once a month and all that content's extracted for you. It's written up. It makes it super easy to plan your content for the month, which I know as a business owner, it can be the last thing that we're thinking about, but it has really powerful results and just takes the hard work out of it, having Az and the team professionally handling your content.
Again, if you just want my team to do this for you and a done-for-you solution, just click the link below. Let's chat and see if it's a fit for your business. So now we've got a system for creating our monthly video content, but how do we make sure that we get this content to a local audience? So the difference when we're a local business is going viral won't necessarily help us, because if we're reaching people in India and Nepal and we've got a very specialized service or people need to come into our location, 1 million views isn't going to drive more business. So how do we make sure that the eyeballs that see our content are in the local community and can actually come in and engage the services? So the first thing that we're going to look at is adding a local hashtag to the content when you schedule it, to make sure that anyone that is following those hashtags could have the opportunity to see that video. The next one is the local city call out. So rather than just having headlines that would speak to the general population, we add in the location. So we appeal to people in the local community, but we also tell the algorithm, hey, this is who we want to see this video. And then finally, to put it on steroids, we boost the location so we can actually control the quality of the eyeballs that are going to see our videos with this one simple step. So let's jump in and see how we make this happen. So how do we schedule our content to go out to get in front of our local community, have the best chance at reaching customers? So we're going to follow these principles and do an example, and hypothetically pretending that this is Blonde Republic right here. So the great thing about when you're using the Meta Planner, and just follow the link to the Meta Business Suite below this video to get to this place, and then you just want to click on your planner, it'll tell you the most active times of your audience. And generally speaking, if your target clients are mums and dads, as an example, the evenings are a great time to schedule your content because they're done with the working day, the kids are in bed, they've had dinner, they're on their phone scrolling. So just think about when you're on your phone scrolling, and that's the best time to schedule your content, because that's likely when your target customers are as well. And we want to reach them at a time they're on the platform, but you get a few clues from the Meta Planner about when that could be, and you can schedule your content to go out at these optimal times. So we're going to create reels because that's the best way to structure the videos that we've just created when we post them to social media. So I click on create reel, and again, we're going through the lens of this being Blonde Republic. So I'm going to get my video that Deb has created as an example, and I'm going to add it to the platform. I'll just pause the sound. Now, what we do differently is we want to go through these 3 steps. We're using local hashtags, local city call out, and boost location. So to find local hashtags, here's what you can do. A great resource to find a list of local hashtags that can help your content come up in localized searches on social media is besthashtags.com. So we'll use the Tamworth example. If I search the Tamworth hashtag, it's going to show me what people are using in relation to Tamworth. So you can see the results that come up, and depending on the size of the city that you live in and your service area will determine how flexible you get with these hashtags. So in big locations, you might be able to use Tamworth parents as an example if there's a large population and that's who you're looking to reach, or Tamworth dads, Tamworth mums. But in generally speaking, if you're in a regional place, just using the location is a really smart play. So you want to grab yourself 5 or 6 local hashtags that are a fit for who you're trying to reach, and then park them to the side and then put them on the appropriate content and videos. So if people are searching or following these hashtags locally, then your video and your content has every chance of showing up to them. So the local call out strategy works like this, and I prepared some captions earlier. So if you're going for a global audience, you wouldn't have the location in it. you might have popular blonde winter hairstyles for X, Y, Z, whoever the audience is. But when you're a local business, putting in your service area, your city, your suburb in the title tells the algorithm who it's for, but more importantly, it's going to help get the attention of people in the community when we go to the next step in the process and we circulate it locally. So as you can see, and it might not work on every single post, so if it doesn't fit and it's not right for that piece of content, you don't have to do this. But imagine you were a lady in Tamworth with blonde hair and you saw popular blonde winter hairstyles for Tamworth ladies. It's going to get your attention, just like if I saw a post in my feed that said Box Hill Dads. It's going to get my eyeballs. I'm going to stop and I'm going to have a look. So it's going to promote targeted engagement. And that's what it's all about here, quality eyeballs. And then, of course, leading into the value, this is an educational post talking about some popular winter hairstyles. And then what's also important is having that call to action. And that's one of the points that we touch on here in attracting local clients. If we can promote people to interact and engage with our content, one, it tells the algorithm people are responding to this, show it to more people like this, and it can help get more traction. But if people are asking questions in the comments below, then you can start a conversation with them and they might become a lead or an opportunity that could be a client for your business. So the more you tell people what to do, the action that you want, the more opportunities you can create from your content, especially if you're going to be circulating it around in the local community to targeted eyeballs when I show you how to do that in just a moment. Then we've got our local hashtag that we've added. So depending on what the post is, where you are, you might have one or two of these hashtags. The ideal number of hashtags, generally speaking, is between 1 to 5 on just about every platform. So you don't want to hashtag spam, and you can go check that on Google. So if we follow this structure, we've got our call out of our local clients and area in the title. We've got a local hashtag. Then we're optimizing our post to get the attention of the right people and telling the algorithm who we want to see this. And we're setting ourselves up to achieve the goal of 24/7 local visibility. The next step when our post is ready is to boost it so we do achieve that 24/7 local visibility, and we're always omnipresent with our target clients in the community, either educating them, adding value, showcasing what we do through social proof, or adding the community story so we create that connection piece. So when our post is ready and we're happy with the captions following that framework, we click next. Now if you're doing a social piece post where you might be showcasing the business or doing a little tour around the site, you might add some music, and you can do that here. If I click next, now I want to schedule it at the optimal time where my target audience is most likely to be on social media. And to reiterate, it's usually when you're on social media scrolling. So in most cases for mum and dad type audience, it's the evening. So let's say it was 7 o'clock tonight. I believe that's what it said in the schedule. And then we just click our schedule button. Now, as you know, we have a posting structure for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for even distribution across the 3 different content pillars throughout the week. So we would be following that framework. So let's say this was one of our social proof posts. We would know that we should reschedule that for 7 a.m. tomorrow morning at that optimal time. But generally speaking, the posts are going to go out at pretty much the same time each week for our target audience on those days, following that framework that we went through over here. So now to make sure that we reach our target clients in our community 24/7, we are going to boost to that audience in the location. So if we go to our scheduled post and we click on it, you'll see this blue boost button. Then what we can do, normally you'll have a preview here, is mention the goal of that piece of content. So depending on what you want to achieve with it. So if it's just an educational piece of content that you want to add more goodwill to the community, you can just target people watching the videos and getting to know you. If you wanted to have another call to action, so if we go back over to pillar number 3 over here where we attract local clients, you may want to add in a call to business option or message to business. So we've got all these different solutions, or you can just leave it as automatic and let Facebook and Meta do its thing. So it depends on the piece of content and what your goal is. So it'll also come up with variations of the text. In this case, I don't want to use any variations that they've got. If I didn't want to have a button, then I can choose no button. But if I want to have that option for people to contact me and have that, again, call to action feature, then I might leave that there and have send message, call now, whatever the particular action is I want for the business. And if I'm using the message option, then I can have a template. So there's a default welcome message. So if someone does message you, you can say, hey, how can I help you today? And you might have a list of options, so you can edit that there. But what's most important is the audience, making sure that we reach the target customers in the location. So what we're going to do is go to audience details, click on the edit icon. So in Deb's case, we want women, and it could be anyone from 18 to 65 in Deb's case, but you'd put in the age range of your target client. So then we're going to type in Tamworth because that's the salon location. There we go. And then we want to also look at the radius. How far do we want people to travel to Tamworth? So we can bring this in. So again, depending on how big your city or location is, how far are people willing to travel to come to your business? You can go as low as 17 kilometers and expand it out depending on what the service is. So let's say we wanted to leave it at 30 kilometers as an example. And now we've got our female audience, 18 to 65, within a 30 kilometer radius of Tamworth. You do the same thing. What is the gender? If that's specific to your business, you can leave it as all if that's not an issue for clients. The age range, so if you need customers that are more established, a bit more along the life and professional journey, you might increase that to say 30 plus, so mums and dads that have disposable income and are at that level as opposed to younger audiences. So really think about who your best customers are and what their age range is. Put your location in. And then if you needed to refine it a little bit further, you can put in some more suggestions like a parent or so forth in this part, but I generally leave it open. Meta's pretty good at showing content to the right people these days, and you can see it suggesting interests for me based on being a marketing agency. So I'm just going to hit save audience, and you can see all my changes have come in here. So female, 18 to 65, 30k radius of Tamworth. And then what I need to do once I'm happy with this setup is my duration. So I set my duration, and usually I'll have it as a 4-day duration. And then I want to set my budget. How much am I willing to spend? So let's say it was $20 as an example. And what you're going to get is an estimation of the daily reach. So I'll be spending roughly $5 a day and reaching between 300 and 800 females in Tamworth, aged between 80 and 65, who are the target clients. So by investing that $5 a day, I'm going to be reaching somewhere in this range on a daily basis, and I'm achieving the targeted local visibility of being front and center with my target clients in the community. And I would just hit schedule when I'm happy with that setup, and assuming the post gets approved, you have to meet the guidelines of Meta for that to happen, so just be across those. I'm now circulating my educational content about blonde hair for Tamworth ladies across the feed, and I'm going to reach probably somewhere in the region of 2,000 local target clients by taking this step versus leaving it up to chance, anyone, anywhere in the world, by not following this local visibility blueprint. So if you have any questions about this or want some one-on-one personalized support and we haven't connected for a Google Meet yet, there's a link below to do that. Again, if you just want the done-for-you solution and it's much easier to just hand this over, you just go about running your business, click the link below to book in that conversation and we can see if it's a fit for your business. By now, we know how to create 30 days content in 30 minutes a month following our framework for local businesses. You know how to get 24/7 local client visibility to get your content in front of the right eyeballs. Step 3 is what can we do to encourage more of the community to come into the business or engage the services. So the first thing that we're going to look at is call to actions. So this is just telling your audience what to do when they're consuming your content. So it can be as simple as having a button under a post. It might be asking them to put their hand up in the comments below. It could be to go to your link in your bio. It could be to call the business, whatever it is. If we don't tell people what to do, they're often not thinking to reach out and get in touch. So we'll explore that. There's also the monthly promotion strategy. So if you've always got a fresh offer that you can circulate to the local community and give them an incentive to actually reach out to your business and make a decision. And retargeting, how do we make sure that offer is visible to the people that follow your business, that are existing customers, have been engaging and interacting with the content or visiting your website. So our hottest prospects and leads are the ones that are seeing our promotional offers to come into the business. So let's see how to set up a retargeting audience so we can always have an offer front and center with your hottest leads and prospects. Generally speaking, most local businesses are going to be able to reach and retarget their local community using the Meta platform, so Facebook and Instagram. When you get into your Meta Business Suite, you'll see I'm in my Meta Business Suite here. I'll put a link below the video so you can access yours. You want to come down to this All Tools section, and what we're going to do is create an audience of our hottest prospects, existing customers, website visitors, so we can retarget them with our monthly promotions that we might run. So we're always giving someone incentive to reach out to the business, whether that's calling, putting in their details, sending a message, whatever it is. So if you click on this audiences option, you'll go to a page that looks something like this, and over here on the left, again, you want to choose the audiences tab. Once you've done that, you're going to get to a section that looks like this. And what we're going to do is use this blue button to create a series of audiences so we can combine them all together: website visitors, anyone that's engaged with our content, anyone that follows us, anyone that's existing customer, and have our hottest audience front and center at all times. So if we click this create audience button and go custom audience, the first one you might want to create is your customer list. So if you click on that and go next, it'll guide you through the steps. So what you want to do is get to this part here, and you can upload a CSV file of all the emails, phone numbers of anyone that's either a lead in your database or anyone that's an existing customer. So you might want to separate that depending on who you want to target, and you'll sync it with Meta, and then this will go into your audience for retargeting. So you can go through that steps if you have an existing database. The next one that you might also want to do is if you have a website set up, you can retarget anyone that's visited your website if you set this up with Meta. If you're not sure how to set this up, just go to YouTube and it'll show you how to set up this tracking so you can have anyone that visits your site in a retargeting audience. Or if you've got a developer, just ask them if they can go ahead and set this up. So you'll go choose the website option, and then you want to pick the right website. So let's say it was my content only website. All website visitors 180 days is how I usually have this setting. And I will call it website traffic content only as an example, and create that audience, and or click done. So that's my website traffic audience populating. The next audience I'm going to create is a custom audience for anyone that follows the business on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. So we come over here to meta sources and we click on Instagram account, go to next. And let's say it's my account here that we want to target. You can just go through the list and pick the right account. Everyone who follows the account is the first option here. So this is anyone that's followed, unfollowed, etc., started following. And I can name this IG followers, whatever your business name is, and click create audience. So now we can start retargeting and be front and center with everyone that's already following us, so they know who we are. We've got a familiar audience. We can do the same thing with Facebook. So you click custom audience, Facebook page, go to next. Make sure we pick the right one. I'll just choose my Aaron Witnish page as an example. And again, we choose the follower option and we'll call it FB followers. Click create audience. And again, we click done, and we're actually going to combine all these audiences together in a moment. The next thing we want to do is anyone that's engaged or interacted with our content. We go to create audience, custom audience. We go to Instagram, set that up, and you'll see I've got my account. Everyone who is engaged with this professional account, leave that as is, and 365 days. And I'm going to call this IG engagement and hit create audience again. Click done, and then finally we'll do this step for Facebook as well. Facebook page, next. Everyone who's engaged with your page, and we'll call it, I always recommend leaving it at 365 days. So you capture the biggest retargeting audience possible. So click create audience. So now what we want to do is we want to create a saved audience where we combine your engagement on all your content, your followers, and your website traffic, and anyone that was in your customer database together. So if we go create audience, go to saved audience, and what you would name it is retargeting. Now again, for a local business, you may want to specify the location if people need to come into the business in order to get the service. I'm just going to leave this as is now, because I'm assuming if I've been doing my circulation right and following the previous steps in the process, that the majority of the audience will be in that category, especially if we've been boosting posts using the call out locations and local hashtags. I'm going to leave pretty much everything else as is. And when I come down here, what I'm going to do is start adding all my custom audiences. So what we just created was our Facebook engagement. So we're going to add that in. We're going to add in our Instagram engagement. So I'm just clicking them from the list here. Facebook followers, Instagram followers, website traffic. And then I've also got my database in here as well, which I can add in. And what I've done now is I've combined all those different audiences that are familiar, have trust transference from customers in my database through to website visitors to people following and engaging with the business into one audience. And then I click create saved audience. And you'll see my retargeting audience is sitting here. It's now ready to go. If I click on my retargeting audience, I can go to these three little dots and click create ad. And now I can set up a monthly promotion or any offer that I want to circulate to this audience 24/7. So I'm front and center with my hottest prospects, my hottest customers, my hottest leads. And I can do this on a very low budget because it's going to be a relatively small audience when we're starting out. It's going to grow over time as we reach more and more people in the community through our content strategy. So if I click create ad, we go to the next steps in the process. So I'll walk you through setting up your retargeting promotion to everyone that already knows and trusts you. So your hottest audience when it comes to getting people to buy from your business. So every business is going to have different offers, different solutions. So I'll just walk through the setup so you know the basics. So first things first, you want to make sure you choose the right outcome. Meta is really, really good at helping you achieve the result you want. So are you trying to sell something directly? If that's the case, you would choose sales. If you're looking to generate leads, so people messaging you, calling the business, opting in, filling out a form, you might choose leads. If you just want to send them somewhere specifically, you might choose traffic, or if you want them to put their hand up and maybe comment on an offer or post, you might choose engagement. So you make sure you choose the objective that you're after with this retargeting campaign. Generally speaking, for retargeting, your audience is going to be quite small and it'll grow as you put more and more content out there and circulate it to more and more people in the community. So most of the budgets I set are $2 to $3 a day to circulate this offer to those people that are in that retargeting category. So once you've make sure you check that budget, because Facebook will automatically set a budget for you. So it's very important that you keep your eye on that and make sure it's a daily budget as well, or however you want to set that up. You can go to next at this point. Choosing the right conversion is really, really important. So how do you want the leads or sales to come through? So do you want them to send you a message, which can be a really simple setup to get started where you don't need external websites and moving parts? It could be to call your business, to take up the offer, call your office, call your location to take it up and have inbound calls coming in. It could be to fill out a form so you collect some details from them and you follow them up and contact them. So however you want to receive the leads or the sales, you tell Meta which one you want. And then make sure you choose the correct page. I'll just leave it as content only for this example. And then down here is where we want to find our retargeting audience. So you'll see use saved audience, and your retargeting audience should come up in this list. So I'll just grab this example. And again, just check it and make sure that if you want to fix the location as an example, that you come in here and the location you're happy with, and then you can always update it if you want to make some changes. But you can see all the retargeting audiences that we added in the previous step in the example. And then if you're not proficient with advertising setups at this point in time, it's okay to leave placements and things as is. So if I click next, then you're going to go through and set up. So make sure it's connected to the right page for your account where you want, if you're getting messages coming through or calls to the business, that it's actually your business page. Then what you'll do is go through and set up your ad creative. So a few tips on this. When you're using an ad what's going to work best when you're retargeting is usually you smiling at the camera in a photo is the easiest way to get started. So it could be you at the business. Now, the reason why this works is we've been circulating all that content. So they've been seeing your face in videos, they've either been following the account, they're an existing customer in your database. So the easiest way to get their attention is seeing that friendly, smiling face where that trust and goodwill has already been established in the ad. And then you'll go ahead and write out the offer. So you go to set up your ad creative. So you'll go image, ad usually. You write your ad copy. So again, you want to call out your local community and who your target clients are. So in Deb's case, Tamworth ladies, and then go into the offer. What have you got for them this month? What's the special treatment? Is it a package that you've put together? Is it a promotion because it's a seasonal part of the year? Whatever it is, and be quite direct, because with this audience, they already know you. So we're being more along the lines of selling them something than if someone didn't know us in a cold audience. So write out your offer. Generally, you'll have a headline that's calling out your target audience, what the offer is, what they get. So it could be 3 or 4 bullet points about what they get, what they need to do. So is it send you a message, call the business, fill out the form underneath. And that's a really simple structure for writing an ad copy and putting it together. And what you can do is also look at ads that get your attention in your feed, look at how they've written them, how they've set them up, and you can model and structure your ads that way. So again, the headline's really, really important. I would draw attention to what they get. What is it? What is the offer? And put that in the headline. And you might do a few different variations. So usually I'll do a couple of text variations to test different copy. So I might have 2 different primary texts where I write out headline, what they get, and what to do, and then 3 different headlines where I test different angles for the offer. So then the call to action button is really, really important. So you've already told Facebook by this point what your goal is. So if you said you want them to call the business, that will already be established. But if you want them to send a message, you can actually have the button in alignment with the offer. So if you want to send a message to book for something, you can choose book now. If you wanted them to order something, you can have the order now. So try and choose the button that's most relevant for the action that you want them to take and what they're getting in the offer. And then once you've done all that, you hit next. Then depending on your setup, will depend if you need to do anything else here. But by this stage, usually your ad's ready to go and you can preview it over here on the right, what it looks like, make sure everything's in order. And then you hit publish, and then your ad will go into review. And assuming you've met the guidelines of Facebook, usually within an hour or 2, the ad is live, and you'll be retargeting your hottest leads, hottest customers, hottest prospects, everyone that's been engaging with your content 24/7 on Meta, on Facebook and Instagram. Again, if this is something that you want some personalized support with, it's not something that you want to do yourself, book in a session using the link below. We can chat about it, catch and pitch for your business, and there's always a done for you solution if you just want to focus on running the business and you don't want to worry too much about all these other things going on in the background.